What if there was a go-kart game that had full VR support, amazing physics, and better yet, was on sale for £11 right now? Well, there is. It's called Kart Kraft. You need to get it. And in this video, we're going to be checking it out with the Valve Index on one of the newest tracks that they've added to the simulator. Let's go. Right, so we're in the menu here and we've got the new track selected, Atlanta Motorsports Park, which is basically a tarmac roller coaster for your very expensive go-kart. We're going to select it, and you'll notice to select stuff with the in this game, you've got like a cursor on the screen, that dot, and it's head tracking selection, and then you just have plus and minus on your steering wheel, so you don't need to use a gamepad or anything separate. You can just use your head and a button. I mean, if you're playing with a gamepad, you could use a gamepad, but the point is, this works really quite nicely as a way to select stuff using a VR headset. I've put AI on, I've put them on an easy setting, and we should be just good to go, to be honest. The game is Unreal Engine and it is using the deferred renderers, so you do need a pretty beastly computer if you want it to look nice in VR and to run okay. I've got the graphics set a bit too high at the moment, so we will be using the smoothing with the Valve Index. So hopefully the recording image isn't too bad though. Fingers crossed it's okay. It should be passable, and it should be should be reasonably comfortable in a headset. But yeah, you will need a fairly decent PC to run this if you want it to look nice. Though having said that, I have to say the game does actually look quite crisp into the distance, despite it using temporal AA, and it's actually quite nice in VR. Which is a bit of a surprise, because a lot of modern Unreal Engine games in VR tend to look a bit horrendous. And one of the things you notice with the Valve Index is, I mean, it just places you in the game. Like the vertical field of view actually is quite nice with a go-kart, because you can see your body and the wheels. Again, a little bit more horizontal field of view would be nice. We will be trying this with the Pimax, but I have to do a bit more fiddling to get that working properly. But a really nice thing as well with go-karts, let's start driving, press enter, we'll start racing. A really nice thing with go-karts is that because you're so close to the ground, with VR, you feel really connected. Go-karts and VR, as far as driving games go, really just makes sense, because you're also opening a go-kart, and so you can see around you with the VR headset. You don't have all the bodywork blocking the way. So it's just fantastic fun driving this in VR. But another warning, if you are sensitive to motion sickness, this is pretty hardcore. As far as motion in VR goes, this is probably only one step down. Calm down, Bob. This is probably only one step down from flight sims with jets and doing barrel rolls and things. I'm fine with this myself personally. I've got used to it. I've been playing loads of driving sims in VR, but this would have done me in the early days. Oh, that cloud of dust, that was awesome. And again, the only thing I've not got past in VR yet, Jesus Christ, ski jump in a go-kart. The only thing I've not got past yet in VR is fighter jets and doing rolls. For whatever reason, as much as I tell my brain, I'll tell my brain, as much as I say to myself, I'm like, it's not real, I'm not upside down, it's not real, my head thinks I'm upside down when I go upside down. I feel it in my ears. It's like the brain is totally bamboozled. So we've got to work on that. We need to do more flight sims in VR. But anyway, if you can get past the motion sickness potential, and you're comfortable with it, which I am, it's just phenomenal. Like you can play this on a screen perfectly fine. You don't need VR to play this game. It actually plays great on a screen. But when you play this in VR, I mean, the sense of speed is fantastic. Being so close to the ground, you can really see all like the texture of the road surface zooming past you. You can see your like wheels going over the curbing just grazing over it, and you can position your go-kart and look into the corners. It's so good. It's so good in VR. And this game, I can't believe that it's on sale for, it might even be £10. Let's say it's £11. You need to buy this. You need to buy this. They within the next 3 months or so, the developer's aiming to add multiplayer to it. As it is right now, it has a really nice hot lap mode where you basically race a ghost. I'll do it after this race, and we'll explain the hot lap mode. You've got the multiplayer AI mode. Gee, that's probably not a good thing to look behind this. Where you can race against AI in easy, medium and hard. I've got them on easy setting here. You put them on medium, they're actually pretty difficult to beat. And if you put them on hard, then, well, you better be good at go-karting. The AI, I would say they are a little bit aggressive. They've had a few sips of whiskey before coming to the go-kart track. But to be honest, if I was going to drive this go-kart track in real life, I would probably have done the same. So I appreciate that. But you might find the AI can be a little bit frustrating at times. You do have to give them a bit of extra space. But the challenge is really good from them, and they are genuinely fun to race against. So, you know, you've got to take the good and the bad of the AI. AI is always a bit of a compromise. But multiplayer is where I'm just so excited for the multiplayer in this game. It's got four tracks at the moment, I think. This is the 4th circuit, but all the circuits are like full laser scan, insane detail. I mean, they look. Well, I mean, you can see it. I hope you can see it on the screen here. But the detail is absolutely phenomenal. The kart models themselves are also absolutely phenomenal. This is just the X30. Is it Rotax X30 go-kart? I'm not into. I don't know my go-karts. This is sort of your bog standard, sort of entry-level racing go-kart. No gears or anything. It's not a shifter kart or anything. But the actual kart body looks superb. My God, I've got a fly on my leg. I know it's a cable. I thought it had been bitten. You know, you can see all the sort of flex a little bit of the bodywork as you hit curbing. You can see all the the tyres rotating around, all the little texture details on it. Your feet as you push the brake and the accelerator. You can see your feet moving in response to that. If you've got a steering wheel, you know, obviously it all just lines up. Oh my God! What was that? Felt like Neo in the Matrix there with confetti. It's just absolutely fantastic. Whoa, party! That's cool. It's a bit weird that I'm sat in a seat here. I've just rolled my sim rig onto the racetrack and we're watching 3 go-karting men celebrate. But I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. So let's do the hot lap mode, because at the moment the hot lap mode is probably the most compelling part of the game. Until I think they add the multiplayer, which I think, as I say, is about 2 or 3 months away. So let me just double check the recording there. So if we go back, you can use a mouse as well if you want to control it. But if you've got the VR headset on, the mouse cursor won't work. But they've got a really nice system if you're just using plus or negative to go forwards and backwards through the menus. But I'm still getting a bit used to it. So time trial, there we go. X30. And so yeah, we've got the 4 tracks here. Oh, which track is it? Is it PFI? Look, I mean, well, all these tracks look absolutely gorgeous, and that's even if you don't turn the graphics to max, they look absolutely gorgeous. So we've got you've got a global timing board, you've got your national timing board, and then you've got your friends timing board. But when you go into the hot lap, what you'll see, and this is really nice, I'm surprised more games don't do this, it's a really compelling hot lap mode that gets you addicted. The only other game that's similar to this, look at my bod, the only other game similar to this is Race Room Racing Experience has a similar-ish hot lap mode where you race against an opponent. But you'll see here, so we're on the track now, and once we go across the finish line, it should load in our opponent. You can hear them. If I go, I'll slow down a little bit. So there you go. So you've got the ghost of the guy that's basically one time above you. So you want to try and beat their time. It's a really good way to actually learn the tracks and also feel like you've got a bit of, that you're doing a one-on-one battle against someone. And what's fun as well is if you've got your friends on there, or just people on the scoreboard, they're obviously real people's time, so you'll sometimes end up against someone's lap time. And it is their lap. Directly presented in front of you. Whoa, Jesus Christ! Hot air balloon shadow there. I thought there was a hole in the floor. No, just proper dynamic shadows. Who'd have thought about that in the 90s? And imagine this game in the 90s would be like 3 pixels. Whoa! Come on, there's the hot air balloon shadow. Whoa! Terrifying. It's like Independence Day. Oh dear. So another aspect of this game that's great is it is a simulator, so you really do benefit from having wheels and pedals. I mean, I'm using the FANATEC CSLE Elite, the PlayStation 4, and the load cell pedals, the FANATEC load cell pedals, which are really nice, really help with the input on this. But anything like a Logitech G29 is a really good entry-level wheel, or a Thrustmaster T300, anything like that. I mean, it's quite a lot of money, but they're absolutely fantastic devices, and you can ruin your life with sim racing. So, highly recommend playing this with a wheel. It's definitely designed for it. And for those of you familiar with wheels and devices, the force feedback in this is really nice. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't get a huge amount of force feedback from a go-kart, but with this game, you get enough to sort of feel what the go-kart's doing. You feel like the actual track details and stuff from an immersion standpoint. But as you're going through corners, you feel the steering load up with it trying to correct. It's got the self-aligning. It tries to sort of bring the back of the go-kart in, and you do feel a bit of mid-corner load. Though the braking feel isn't the best. You have to be very careful on the brakes and mostly rely on the visuals. In VR, you'll find with the braking it's a lot more obvious what's going on, and I actually find in VR with this it's a lot easier to calm myself down a bit. If I play this in 2D, I tend to overdrive and go all over the place, but as soon as you do that in VR, it becomes very apparent that you're doing that. Rotational movements are magnified in VR a huge amount compared to on a screen. I mean, one of the things on a screen is you kind of have to compromise between running at a low field of view, in which case you lose visibility, which is pretty bad for a go-kart game because you need to be able to see the side of you for sort of situational awareness, or you have high field of view, and what you end up getting then is a distorted view. But in totality, I think a high field of view in 2D works better with this game, whereas it wouldn't work with other driving simulators. But VR basically solves that because you get the situational awareness, not only in that you've got a wider field of view in general than most monitors, but you automatically are looking into corners. So what really stands out with this though is that if you don't know about simulators, you could look at this and you just think, oh well, it's just a normal go-kart game, but it's got enough depth in here in the physics that it really makes it compelling, even with a hot lap mode, to want to keep trying to get better. So, and you making choices as a driver as to how you approach things. So one of the things that I am not doing here enough, well, one thing I do, it's a bad habit in all driving sims, is that I brake too early and not hard enough. So it's really tricky and really satisfying trying to brake later, but hard enough so that you don't spin the back of the car, and balancing the brake pedal just right and in a very precise manner, because go-karts really will just punish you if you overdo it. But also, you see here, carrying the speed through the corner and sort of leaning on the front tyres in the understeer rather than taking off too much speed initially. So actually trying to get as much out of the tyres as possible without overdoing the accelerator and the brake inputs. And then getting that balance right is really, really satisfying. It's one of the things, the kind of precision and detail that you get from simulators is what makes them so addictive compared to when you're playing a more arcadey driving game with like a gamepad or something. You're more playing then just to win the race, or because it visually looks nice, or because it's got cars and stuff in it that look nice. You're not necessarily playing them for the raw depth of the physics. And yeah, Kart Kraft absolutely excels in go-kart physics, which is no small feat because go-karts are so nippy and the wheels are so small and everything happens so quickly. It's very, very difficult from a development perspective to actually get them to work in a realistic way. Come on. I'm trying to talk whilst... bugger, missed the corner. Mow the lawn. I want to beat this guy. This is what... I've loaded this up before and I've literally just been on it for like an hour trying to improve my time, and it's so satisfying when you actually finally do beat your time. You know, it's frustrating. It's pure Super Meat Boy frustration. It's Super Nintendo or NES, not even Super Nintendo. It's NES Battletoads at times, but you know, it's good to feel punished by a game every now and again. We've got so many games on the market these days that are they're soggy sandwiches. They're just like oh Christ, I did not land that. They're just too, you know, they're like, oh, we'll hold your hand through the game. Oh, you're well done. It's a gold star. It's like being at primary school. No. I want games that kick me in the balls, slap me in the face, and drop concrete blocks on me from a high height. That is what I play games for. Not to have fun. We don't play games for fun. We play games to spend a lot of money on equipment and to cry. But it is, if you're a masochist, you know, you'll love this type of thing. So, right, I'm gonna have one last attempt. Probably fail miserably, but oh man, this is so good. Like £11, guys. £11. Literally, this has to be if you like driving game. Like even if you, that's the best value game on Steam. Let's be honest. The developers are really active with improving this. Wow, that jump is insane. I don't think you're supposed to get airborne in a go-kart unless you're Mark Webber. He could turn anything into an aeroplane. Mark Webber, they could have put him on the Titanic and it would have just lifted out of the water. Don't worry, we've hit the iceberg, but we've got Mark Webber here. We're now on the moon. Wow, we're beating him, come on. Oh, get on the power. Christ, see, I've overdone it there. See, I'm going to have to put those corrections in because I was overdriving it. And that's how punishing go-karts are. This is why a lot of Formula 1 drivers come from go-karting, because go-karts are so nippy and quick. It's essentially like Formula 1, but just like at a different scale. So in terms of the inputs and what you do as a driver, it gets you to be super, super laser precise. I'm just having one more go. Jeez, don't get this game, guys. You won't stop playing it. Come on. A little bit of lift off there. Oh, come on. Come on. Straight through there, as smooth as possible. The bumps really do unsettle the go-kart, so you kind of have to line it up as best possible. Too deep. Too deep. Come on. We're coming back. Whoa! Come on. Come on. It's the right-hander here. Oh, Christ, I messed that up. Oh, come on. Carry the speed through. Oh, no! Bugger me. Right, another go. And this video went on for 14 years. Most of his subscribers died before the end of the video and YouTube ceased to exist. See, I didn't line that up too well coming up the hill there, so as a result the cart bogged down. So there's so many opportunities to mess up your lap. Fantastic. Come on. Come on. Right, after this one, right, we need to brake sooner for this corner. Turn it in smoother and not put... You don't put too much steering input. That's another big thing with go-karts, is you've got to be really gradual, like really small steering inputs, really precise steering inputs. If you're going from full-scale cars, that's something that probably throw you off if you're not familiar with go-karts. You might overturn and overdrive. It's something I do. I mean, basically, I'm a textbook example of what not to do with driving sims. Bloody hell, I put a rear wheel on the curb, but we got around the corner there. And again, come on. Carrying the speed through there. Get up the hill. Still ahead. Come on, come on. A little bit of lift off. Get back on the throttle. No, running out of track. Woohoo! I'm still ahead. Come on. Come on. Spot gardening whilst go-karting, why not? Right, we've got to get the speed off here. you've got to get the speed off, but then you have to also not too much. You've got to carry it through. Wow, come on, work it, work it. Take the wide entry into this. Ah, cock. Turned in too soon. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, no! I went in too deep. I didn't brake hard enough at the start. Right, I'm going to torture you guys with even more laps because you'll, you know, I can see you're pulling your hair out. This is how I ended up bold. I played driving simulators. Look at this. We've got like a little storage room over here with some tools. I hope that's a Makita drill. We're all about the Makita drills. Traffic cone physics. What more could you want? Dead bodies on stands and just go-karts with the covers on them. Looks like we've had a zombie apocalypse here. But look at all this. I mean, this is the thing. They've got all the attention to detail for all the environments, all the surrounding stuff. And this isn't even with the graphics on maximum. But, I mean, there you go, guys. That is essentially it. That's the new track in Kart Kraft. And that's me basically telling you that you need to buy it. You've got to get Kart Kraft. So if you haven't got it yet, you're an idiot, is what I'm saying. I mean, that probably doesn't actually encourage people. Calling people idiots isn't the best way to get them to get stuff. But if you don't have this in your Steam library, what is wrong with you is all I'm saying. Especially for the sale now, it's £11. So deal. David, Game of Muscle, Dickens, real deal. Multiplayer coming soon, hopefully. So that'll be really fun to race against people in our community with it. Subscribe. Definitely subscribe to the chat. Why wouldn't you? What a place to be, the Game of Muscle YouTube channel. Click the like button and when you do subscribe, click that bell thing with the drop down options. YouTube want to make it as hard as possible, as unintuitive and as annoying as possible for you to enjoy the content. But that's just how big companies operate. So, yeah, I'm gonna have a cup of tea and get on with our next video, and it'll be live streaming soon. So thanks for watching this, and until the next one. Goodbye, everybody.